workout for opening night?
I had it yesterday. Why didn't you ask me that yesterday?
Wow. I was too busy getting run over by your players.
I mean, you wait till today to ask that?
How are you guys feeling heading into this?
Ready to play. You know, I think, like I said, training camp is a process. Our guys have gotten everything out of our guys that we needed to from a training camp perspective on philosophies and things that we want to get done. And, you know, it's that balance of like everybody wants to play really well on opening night, and so doing that, and at the same time knowing it's a long year and we have to just continue to chop away at it every day.
Tatum said the other night after the game, he said you've done a good job kind of changing the culture here. Is that something that you set out to do at the beginning of this training camp?
Yeah, I think that was for me personally, one of my most important goals this offseason was to just kind of enhance, not necessarily change, just more enhance it. Like I think obviously it's the Celtics and there's ultimate alignment from top to bottom, from ownership to front office to staff to players to people that work there. And so just looking for ways to enhance that, I think is something that we should be doing every single year. And you know, our guys have done a good job of carrying that forward, of really buying into what that mindset is. And that's going to be important for us.
I think to really enjoy what Dalano's brought to the table this preseason. How do you view his role going into this year, and just what he can contribute night in, night out? Because obviously you do have a number of guys in front of him. But,
no, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, can you handle being in and out of a lineup? Knowing that when your name is called, it's because we really need you to execute your role and we really need you to help us win. And at the same time, know that like our development team has really put in a long-term development plan to say like we want you to be here by end of the season, All-Star break, postseason. So it's just that idea of, and guys, it's tough. I've coached guys like that. Can you feel like appreciated and valued every day? Can you answer the bell when your name is called? And can you just get better every single day? And he seems to have the mindset to want to do that.
What's the milestone you kind of focused on to start the season?
Really just, playing every single possession. Like playing every single possession on both ends of the floor, becoming a playmaker on offense and becoming dynamic defensively to where he can guard different matchups, execute different coverages, know other teams' personnels, and really be a spark for us. One of the things he does well is get deflections. And then on the offensive end, he gets to the glass.
You said on the JJ's podcast, like, you're kind of too focused on one seed last year. What did that look like then, and what do you think will change in terms of that focus?
So I wasn't too focused from the standpoint of like, I was coming in every day saying that we had to get it, but it's obviously something that you're like, man, I want to get this. I want to get this. It didn't affect like the way I coached, but it affected me internally of like, this would be really important for me if we get this. And in reality, it's like you don't know really what's good for you until you get it. And so I think it's just that idea of like whatever situation that you're in or whatever you're going through, that's what you need to get to where you want to go. And it's not about trying to say like, if then this. Like if we get this, then we'll be in a better situation. Like you just don't know that. And so that's just something that I'll definitely learn, throughout, where it's like more importantly about how you attack every day and kind of where you're at towards the end of the year. And I remember you asked me a question last year of like, we lost the 1 seed and it was nothing we did. Another good team on a 20-game winning streak, and sometimes you can't control stuff like that. And just kind of more focusing on like, are we getting better every single day? Are we reinventing ourselves in small ways? And are we playing to our standard?
Do you embrace the pressure and the expectations of the season more than, how do you approach kind of the enormity of this season?
I mean, you definitely embrace them. I mean, you can't ignore them. If you ignore them, you're lying to yourself. And so I think that's another area of growth for me as a coach from year 1 to year 2 is like this idea of like surrender. Like you just have to get rid of the fact that like this is the situation that you're in. You got to swing for the fences, do the absolute best that you can, go balls to the wall and surrender the result of what may happen. And so there was a process for me internally of like, hey, I have this opportunity to coach one of the greatest organizations, my hometown organization. At the end of the day, I can't really control what's going to happen to me other than what I can do every single day. So there was even some of that this offseason, this idea of like surrendering to that, whatever may happen, and just say, fuck it, we're going to just go for this thing.
You didn't go balls to the wall last year?
I did, yeah. But I still like in your first year and I still had to like, there were still moments of like, hey, like, I have the responsibility to this organization. I put more pressure on myself to want to move it forward. And like you have to kind of surrender to the fact that you may move it forward, but you may not get the results that everybody wants. And so like, can you just still bring it every single day regardless and do it the way you think it should be done and do it together with good people?
Brad Stevens would always tell us two hardest things for these players is all the extreme negative reactions that they get. Everything is always the worst, but then also when things are going well, how much praise they get. This is probably the highest praise they've been getting in a while. People are really, really high on them. How do you keep them grounded and staying focused heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of people have heard, like, you try to treat praise and criticism the same because they both can be detrimental. And obviously it's easier to do one and not the other. At the end of the day, I think it goes back to, like, understanding that we have a responsibility to each other. We have a responsibility to the brand. We have a responsibility to the organization to do the absolute best that we can and do it together. And I think it's more about who are we going to be when it's going well and who are we going to be when it's going bad. And that will say more about us throughout the season than it is kind of how we are right now when everything's kind of going our way.
On the Knicks.
How have you seen D. White evolve since he first got here? Kind of like comfortable.
We do a lot of pop quizzes, and he answers every question right and gives the other guys the opportunity to not embarrass themselves for not knowing the right answer. So he's really become a leader, a vocal leader, and every time we put him in a fix-it situation, an opportunity for the guys to have to figure it out, he's leading the charge and kind of taking that control as like a point guard and a voice for our team. So. The basketball stuff will take care of itself, but integrating him as a vocal leader and somebody that can take the reins, on both ends of the floor and help us out is going to be great.
Thoughts on the Knicks?
Tibbs' coach team, physical, toughness. They've shown a little bit more double big in their second unit, but we know how they play. They take on the identity of their coach, and it's going to be a tough matchup.
Do you take anything from the 2 preseason matches?
You can take a little bit. You don't want to like invent stuff to take as like, oh, they're going to do this. But I think there's stuff that you just know what Tibbs' team is going to do, and they're going to bring it on defense, and they're going to execute well offensively. And those guys that they have do a great job of getting to their spots, do a great job of creating contact. And we got to be disciplined in our defense. We got to defend, and we got to be able to execute the other end.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.